chick who was an ex-MMA fighter named Gina Carano was fired from her role on The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay. Al watches the show.
Yeah. Good show.
He said that she's useless on the show.
Yeah. Her character is important, but she's a horrible actress.
Yeah. She's basically, I think basically what happened was she was a legit MMA fighter. So like she started getting these action roles. And I think it's just like, oh, this adds validity to this person in the movie because she can really do these things in real life.
Right.
Right. So I get that. And sure, she's in the show. Is she kicking people's ass in the show?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she can literally kick ass.
Yeah.
Right. In real life, because she used to be an MMA fighter. I get it. I get what Hollywood does. Right. So she tweets out something. I think it was tweet, or she basically put out this, and she goes, she was talking, she basically compared the persecution of Republicans and Trumpers to the Nazi persecution of Jews. Okay. She goes, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to that point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Now, she got fired for saying this. First of all, shouts to the Jews, bro. The Jews, they fucking got it locked, bro.
Bro, they really do.
They got it locked. Where's Dove?
Yeah.
We need his opinion on it. Right now, he's getting feasted on by the Rona.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, yo, all that, like the Jewish-Chinese relationship, it really does like reign true. Like, you know how like that's where Jews go on Christmas?
Oh, I
They
didn't
go
know
eat
it.
Chinese food.
Oh, Chinese food places. Yeah, yeah.
And now the Chinese are eating the Jews in Florida with this Rona. But so I'm actually curious what Dove has to say. It's a bummer he's not here, but it is interesting, right? Because what she's trying to say. Now, listen. Anytime you liken anything to the Holocaust, you could definitely make the argument that you're dismissing the severity of the Holocaust, right?
That's what's immediately going to happen.
Exactly. And the same thing with slavery, right? It's like anytime you call, like when athletes call themselves, oh, this is modern day slavery, it's like you're kind of belittling how horrible slavery was. And like we say that. Now you could make arguments for both, right? You could say like when athletes talk about being slaves, they're talking about their freedom to operate in the world is restricted based on these contracts, right? And that is absolutely nothing like slavery. And I understand why there's pushback, especially from the black community. You hear it from like the conservative side who is just trying to do anything they can to like shut athletes up. But you also hear it from the black community. It's like, hey, can we not liken everything to slavery?
Yeah.
We're belittling how horrendous slavery was, right? Most slaves would, in a heartbeat, switch places with a professional athlete.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the thing with what she's saying here is interesting because she's not saying, I think this is more nuanced. She's not saying that what Republicans go through is the same as what Jews went through in Nazi Germany.
Right.
What she's saying is this is the groundwork for what happened to Jews.
Yes.
In other words, you first need to make it okay to publicly hate someone and shame them, and then you could do whatever you want with those people. So do I think in America in the year 2021 that there's ever going to be a time where we're just rounding up Trump supporters, half the country? Like, you know how big the fucking camps are going to need to be? Like, we didn't even have enough room for the Native Americans. Yeah. There's no way we're going to have enough room to put 74
barely
million
a minority. Barely a minority.
Barely. 49%, 49.5%.
Yeah.
Like, so that can't happen. Like, Jews were a super, super small minority in Germany. So this is completely unrealistic. But what she's saying is you can't allow hatred towards a group of people because when you openly hate a group of people, all of a sudden it becomes very easy to inflict acts of violence on them.
You can't make a person radioactive for who they are. That's kind of what she's saying. Like, yeah, you're going to hate this person automatically because she's a Trumper.
And when it's open to hate them, violence is very easy. Like, remember a punch a Trump supporter or something, or punch a MAGA person?
Something. Yeah.
Back in the day, like, it was just like a saying. So it's like, MAGA people are racist and sexist and all these other things, so you might as well just punch them in the face. Or punch a Nazi. That was it. But they were referring to the MAGA people as Nazis, essentially. And it is kind of weird that nobody ever has issue the other way around?
That's what I was going to say. We've been comparing Trump to Hitler for 4 years. Now the comparisons are stronger than ever. Nobody ever says, hey, that's triggering. Do you understand that Hitler killed 6 million Jews?
That's so true. Like, we can label... That is really interesting.
And that's what bothers me about this. I think what she's saying is stupid. Like, I understand the general point that she's trying to make, and that's not stupid. She takes it to a stupid place. But people compare Trump to Hitler on the other side for 4 years.
And
nobody's losing jobs.
Yeah, there seems to be no issue with that whatsoever. So the left is completely okay when people use Hitler as something, I don't know, like a way to like judge how horrible a human being is.
Yes.
And apply that on conservatives. Right? Trump is Hitler, right? Ted Cruz is Hitler. Proud Boys and all these things are Nazis, etc. They're applying the Nazi Germany likeness all the time.
How is that not marginalizing the death of 6 million Jews?
It completely marginalizes.
I just don't understand how the other side doesn't apply.
Just to be fair, I do think both sides do it. Like, whenever there's like some type of
yes, and
person,
it's annoying.
They always go to Hitler.
I don't think this is fireable.
Well, but that is I was actually talking to Mark about this the other day before he had Corona, and he brought up a thing. He's like, who did people compare people to before Hitler?
Yeah,
because Hitler is the litmus test for horrible.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I guess it was apparently Napoleon.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I guess the Napoleonic times were like incredibly brutal, war, and people just getting fucking massacred all the time. So he was this person who was trying to dominate the whole world and looked at as incredibly evil. Hitler came around, and now Napoleon's like, oh, remember that cute guy that was a good general?
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be somebody worse that comes along and then Hitler becomes Napoleon?
I mean, hopefully not, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
All it takes is one person to do a little bit worse thing than you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're off scot-free. Remember George Bush? Most hated man in America.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, best friends with Michelle Obama, passing around fucking lozenges and shit during every single inauguration.
Yep.
People love their relationship.
Yep.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Trump is one bad guy away from being, remember that funny guy that used to tweet the crazy shit?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe all these politicians know that. You're just the latest person on the whipping post or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this. I don't think that this is that absurd. I don't think it's absurd if the point she's trying to make is, hey, we can't tolerate this behavior where you allow people to just openly hate someone else.
I agree with that.
Right? What else is she going to liken it to? If you want to show severity, you use an example more extreme than the one that you're in.
I think it's just so much more extreme that it's ridiculous. But I still stand by it.
Oh, but I thought her thing is, this isn't what it is. This is where it goes.
This is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing when people compared Trump to Hitler in his first year in office. I was like, this is way too fucking early to do.
Let him cook a little.
Yeah,
right?
let him get there.
He's just warming up.
Let it marinate. Let this marinate, this Trumpian hatred or whatever. Let that marinate. When a couple of Trumps get fucking knocked out, then we got something. Right now, it's too much. But again, I don't think this is fireable. This is not something you get fired for. And if it is, start looking at the motherfuckers who compared Trump to Hitler for 4 years.
Yeah, why does it never...
How does that not undermine what the Jews went through?
Let's try to break that down. Why do you think that is?
Where's the concentration camps? Where did those happen in the past 4 years?
Wait,
None.
What do you mean?
I'm saying the U.S., where did Trump put people in concentration camps? Like, tell me the steps that are so Holocaust-like.
Why is it that you can liken... This is what's the difference. You can liken someone to the persecutor. You can't liken someone to the persecuted. So it's almost like I guess it's no different than I imagine how black people feel about slavery, right? We can call anybody a slave master.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But once you start calling yourself, it's like I'm basically a slave.
Yeah.
Like if some white person was like, yeah, look at the treatment that I'm getting.
Okay.
It's like I'm basically a slave. Black people are like, yo, y'all don't even know what it's like to be a slave.
Yeah.
But if you said, yeah, the way this guy runs a company, he's like a slave master. The way Elon Musk runs a company, he's a slave master. I don't know if black people are going, hey, you're belittling how horrible slave masters are.
Yeah, I don't think it would get as much pushback, if any.
But that's interesting.
But it's an implied thing. If Trump is Hitler, aren't the rest of the nation the persecuted? Aren't they saying we are the persecuted?
Yes.
I guess they're not explicitly saying it, so there's like, plausible deniability.
Yes.
But it's essentially the same implication.
It is the same thing.
Yeah.
But that is the way that you protect yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
You just don't take on the struggle.
Yeah.
Right? You just pass on the persecution.
Right.
And that is completely scot-free.
And I think Trump...
sorry to interrupt, but we do this all the time where we're like, he's a Nazi about grammar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Grammar Nazi. It's the exact term.
Grammar Nazi, right? He's a soup Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, we use the word Nazi interchangeably with someone who's a real pain in the ass. Like, Nazi shouldn't equal pain in the ass.
That's true.
But we've...
Kind of mean.
Kind of mean. Yeah. Doesn't give you soup.
Yeah. Grammar Nazi. He's always telling me where to put commas.
Right.
This guy.
And that's the comedic juxtaposition, right? Let's describe something with something way more severe, right? When you say someone looks like a whale or someone looks like a manatee, right? They don't actually look like a manatee, but you're describing them in a way more severe way, and that's why it's funny, right? Obviously, she's not trying to be funny right here, but she's using the same tactic of describing her situation in a way more severe way so people pay attention to it.
Have they been trying to get rid of her for a while? Like, is this enough?
Yeah, that might be bro.
I think so.
Disney also super woke, though. My girl was watching...
Now, if there's anyone that should understand...
Well, yo...
If there is any company... If there is any company on this planet that should not cancel her...
Oh, that's true.
For these beliefs...
Maybe they're trying to make it right, you know?
It's a company started by good old Walt Disney. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe they're super sensitive to their past.
Yeah.
Walt Disney was a Nazi sympathizer back in the day. Or allegedly. I don't know exactly what he said, but I think it's pretty common knowledge that he was.
That's what you hear a lot.
Right.
Now, what I was going to say is my girl, first of all, Disney, I've always noticed, has been kind of progressive in certain ways. Like, they had that one Cinderella where Brandy was Cinderella.
Right.
And, like, there's a black girl that was one of the stepsisters and two white girls. But she put on Aladdin after that, and then there was, like, a disclaimer that was like, we understand that some of this stuff was offensive. Rather than editing out history, we think it's important to have these conversations. But, like, any movie they have, we started going through. We stopped the movie. We're like, what about this movie? Could this be offensive? And any movie that could be offensive, they have that disclaimer now.
That's just their way of going, it costs too much to change this shit. So keep watching this shit, motherfucker. You know you like it, but don't be angry.
They're on that, like, we're very much on the forefront of, like, the woke movement or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, in line with that, but I don't think this is fireable. I just don't.
Yeah.
You can call it stupid. I do. I don't think it's fireable.
But we also use hyperbole every single day for our career. Like, that's what we literally do. Like, what she's doing, she's not doing it for comedic purposes. She's doing it for dramatic purposes. But, like, for a living, what we do is exaggerate things so it's funny. So when we see someone else exaggerate things, we're like, oh, yeah, that's relatable. That's what we do. Maybe that's why it's not so shocking. But for these literalists... Right? These like suits, these corporate motherfuckers who don't know how to think outside of like right in front of their face. Maybe they're just like, people could cancel their subscriptions if she's
maybe this is a stupid counter argument, but even the way we all use language, like when people say literally, it doesn't mean literally anymore. Gary Goldman has a great bit about it, how like now it even just means figuratively. Oh, he's literally 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
We all do that. Everybody exaggerates language.
Yes.
We all have a boss that's a slave driver, slave master. Nobody's like a stand-up so they get it. In the office, we all say it. So I don't...
And you know what's interesting? She actually knows a little bit about Nazi history.
I didn't know that shit.
Neither did I. I thought it was like Hitler turned on the light and then that's
what I
it.
thought,
Out
bro.
with the Jews. I didn't know that. But it makes way more sense that they slowly need to gain support.
Yeah.
They slowly need to gain support for this behavior.
Yeah.
And they tolerate these actions from like the regular Germans who are in the street. This is... I don't know. It's kind of weird. If you're Jewish, I'm really curious. If you're Jewish, do you not agree with this on some level? I think Ben Shapiro supported her actually, and he's head media Jew, right? But like,
which is very much head Jew. If you're head media Jew, you head Jew, boy.
But I wonder if like as a Jew in this situation, you're like, hey, listen, we've studied this. We know how this works. She's not wrong. Do we think this will happen in America? No. We don't think this will happen in America.
Right.
They don't think this will happen in America to non-Jews. But if you ask the average Jew if they think that Jewish persecution could happen again, they believe that it could.
Yeah.
My Jewish friends, I asked them, and they're like, absolutely, 100% it could happen. And it can happen quicker than you ever believe. So I bet if...
I believe a race war could start.
Oh, you don't think we're back to norms?
No.
Really?
Nah, I still think we're on edge.
Son, we got the Chappelle Show back, bro. We got the first 2 seasons of the Chappelle
all those
Show
people
back.
that stormed the Capitol, they didn't disappear.
Because there was no Chappelle Show. Now that the Chappelle Show is back
true.
and they can watch sketch comedy
We need
again,
a hero. We got a hero.
everything's fine.
But that's one
We
of
got a
those
hero,
things.
though.
Son, we have
That's
the
one
hero.
of those
He's
things.
not the hero that we asked for, but he's the one we deserve. What is the Batman shit?
Yeah, the one we deserve, I think.
It's the one we deserve, dude.
But that's the thing, man. So Jews still feel that they could be prosecuted, and black people still feel that there could be a civil war.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you not to feel that. Because the way that you look at history, it seems incredibly easy.
Yeah.
Right? The way that Akaash and I look at history, we're like, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's not, we didn't grow up learning about this shit nonstop going, hey, it could happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a really tricky one. If she wasn't
in
such a
this
trash
one-
actress, go.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. In this one, I really just think it's almost like when a company drops an athlete for some little thing they say.
But it's like, nah, you know,
Like
what it
the
really was.
athlete was just like starting to play trash. And so it's like, any reason I can let him go. I think that's what they were just looking for something. Boom, you gave us a nice out where we don't look bad for firing some woman.
But I also think if she was on the other side, there wouldn't be this firestorm. If she was on the liberal side, and again, it might be different because the history of being persecuted, but a lot of people pointed out the things that, like the anti-minority movement, or I guess it was whatever, in the last 4 years, and they were like, yo, this is how the Holocaust started. This is how X started. This is how Y started. This is how this, like, that's been happening on the other side. This is just the first time we heard a Trump supporter saying it about themselves, and now it's a problem. And again, it might be different because minorities, particularly black people, had such a history of being persecuted in America that you look at them and you're like, yeah, no, that's more plausible than a white female Trumper.
Yeah, I was actually watching this documentary, and they said like during the Trump years, like white extremism went up 55%, like throughout those 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
It was a little scary. I get it, but Biden won.
Yeah, so hope it goes down, but the fact that it's like
You just don't think
can
it's
have
like
that
it's-
drastic of an increase. Just
Maybe that's
who's
because it
leading?
came from nothing. Like, if there was 2 acts of white terrorism or whatever it is, or white extremism in the year 2016, and then there was 3 in 2017, that's up 50%. But that doesn't mean it's tons more.
Yeah.
I do believe it went up a good amount, and I think you could feel it, and we were all on edge. But I also think this
You're
kind
making
of
that shit
shit
up, bro.
only makes it worse.
You're making that shit up entirely, bro.
Come on.
Stop it. Stop trying to steal my country. Son, stop trying to steal my country, bro.
Crazy, son.
I
We
want my
already stole the
country back.
vote, bro.
Say what?
We already stole the vote.
Stop it. I knew you were part of that shit.
Yo.
Y'all probably made the machine.
Yo, you know what it sounds like you need?
What's
A
that?
hero.
Man, I need
I
a
wish we
fucking
knew one,
hero,
dog.
bro.
I wish we knew a hero.
I need a hero,
Son.
dude. Oh my God, bro.
Yo,
What if Batman, after saving Gotham, came out, he's like, I am your hero. New Yorkers would be like, fuck out of here, bro. You wearing spandex, bro. What the fuck you wearing?
What if instead of
we
doing it-
bailed you out?
what if instead of that, it was Bruce Wayne saying it after a ruthless corporate takeover of Wayne Enterprises? What if that's when his hero moment? What if that's when he was like, hey, Wayne Enterprises stock up 50%? You're
I am
welcome.
a hero.
I'm the hero. Non-stockholders too. I'm your hero. I have courage.
You don't agree? It's because you're cowards. Hey, does anybody disagree with me? You must be a coward. Because only cowards disagree with a hero.
God.
Where's Patrice? We need you, Patrice.